If you are a young man on self improvement, there's one thing that you should avoid, and that is the self improvement trap. Basically, what happened when I first got into self improvement, and I've kind of have like a interesting, I have not really a conventional relationship with self improvement because, alhamdulillah, I'm Muslim, and actually a lot of Islam is already self improvement. So I just took like a few things from like the self improvement kind of field, and then I implemented it also. But a lot of the things that are considered self improvement, I was already kind of getting into and learning throughout like the years, like learning about Islam. Anyway, if you're a young man on self improvement, it is very easy to kind of get lost in this whole kind of whirlpool of self improvement videos, books, whatnot, info, to the point where you feel inadequate, you feel not good enough, you feel like you're not doing it, doing your best, and you're kind of, in essence, digging yourself a hole, especially if you don't make change. I think there are a lot of young men out there that are kind of obsessed with self improvement but not taking any action. And don't get me wrong, the fact that you want to better yourself is already like an amazing job. Like really, you've done like a good job wanting to change, like having like an intrinsic motivation to change. That's amazing, but it needs to go paired with implemented behavior. You cannot just read the theory and think that, oh, I've got the theory in my head now. Okay, next theory, next. No, implement first what you learn. Instead of buying 10 books about self improvement, buy one and start practicing with that one until you get halfway through it, or maybe you finish it, and then you go on to the next one. Now, what I did, and I think what a lot of young other men do, is that we get into this obsession, and then we're just like, more. I need to consume more. And that's really not the way to go about it. Like, it's really not the way to go about it. If you think about it, if the pursuit of bettering ourselves becomes like an obsession, that can lead to anxiety, burnout, and like the constant feeling of inadequacy. I think the number one tip is to set realistic goals. Like, it's amazing to have big dreams, but if you have like a more practical approach, smaller pieces and to like manageable steps, it makes them more achievable and less overwhelming. I think a second tip would be to prioritize kind of your quality over your quantity. It's very easy to get caught up in like consuming as much self-help content as possible, but if you focus on a few key kind of resources and actually apply what you learn, that's going to be far more effective. And I think the final tip is to balance self-improvement with self-acceptance. It's important to strive for betterment, of course. Everybody wants to be better, but it's equally crucial to also kind of love and accept yourself, because if you don't, you're always gonna have the feeling, oh, I'm not good enough, I'm not doing good enough, and you're not gonna find any space for you to pat yourself on the back and say, hey, I'm actually doing a good job. And some people think also that it's weird to talk about self-love. They think, I've even heard somebody tell me that, oh, that's gay, bro. How? You have to be happy with yourself. You have to kind of, I know that okay, maybe love for some people is a bit too much, but you have to be happy with yourself. You have to be in like a good relationship with your like that inner dialogue. For me, it used to be very negative. I used to cuss myself, like, oh, you're such a loser, or you're not good enough, oh, you're a waste man, whatever. This is the most unhealthy way to kind of talk to yourself. And why was I talking to myself? Because I was not okay with myself. I didn't accept my struggles. I didn't accept the things I did wrong. When I started to kind of challenge that inner dialogue, everything started to change. Like, the way you think, you have to come to terms with the fact that the way you think is the way that you're gonna behave. If you think negatively, I promise you, you're gonna get negative effects. It's like you need to implement a growth mindset. I'll maybe make a video for another time because that's like a separate thing. But you have to have a growth mindset rather than kind of a limited mindset, or like even a destructive mindset. That whatever you do, yeah, I did it, but it's not good enough. Oh, I did it. It's not hard enough. It's not this and that. You're not gonna make it if you keep talking to yourself like that. So that's why it's very important to accept yourself and be okay with yourself. And I think those are like very important tips to really keep in mind and kind of also focus on daily, because it's very easy to get lost in the self improvement trap.